Okay, Conn, welcome to the Big Kickoff League of Ireland show. It's great to have Treaty in the League of Ireland. It's great not just for the Limerick area, it's not just good for the Midwest area, but it's great for the league as a whole because the league needs clubs from uh, all areas of the island. So how did that come about in the end? And did you have any problems? And was there a time that you thought it mightn't happen?
Well, I suppose we'll have to go back right this time last year when we attempted to get back into the league. And this part of the world, first of all, is very hungry for League of Ireland soccer. And it has an incredible tradition of being part and parcel of the football scene. So it was missed. And a number of people approached and said, look, could we get League of Ireland back into that? Now, I'll be perfectly honest, right? I know very little about it. I'm working with underage kids out at a small club in Sean. So this was a very big step in terms of understanding and getting moving forward. So we brought together a very experienced bunch of people, both football wise and business wise. And what we started off with was a hiccup. We called ourselves Limerick United. People know that at this stage. We found we couldn't do that. So we went back to a name that's synonymous with this part of the world, which is Treaty. And we also went back to the colours that we turned out in 1937, which are the candy stripes, the red and white. So we brought a bit of heritage and a lot of history and a very strong team, created a not-for-profit company. And our first entrance into the National League was our women's team and our under-17s. They had a great year. And in fairness, we had the semi-final of the FAI Cup. We were thrilled to have got that far, performed very well in the leagues. And that was our flagship. So we moved forward this year. We had always said our ambition very simply was we wanted to have opportunity for young people in the Midwest to actually perform at the highest level that they could. And that means getting into League of Ireland soccer. Yeah. And if you look at the junior scene, I'm sure you're far more familiar than I am. Every cup that could be won has been won in this part of the country. Yeah. So how is that talent going to get its exposure? And it can only be done through the academy, through a senior team, both on men's and women's. So that was the ambition, right? And we pushed it forward this year, went through the licensing process with the FAI, a long process, arduous, challenging. But having said that, and I've said this a few times now, right at this stage, I now understand why it is the way it is. Because if you can't get your act together, you shouldn't be in there. And therefore, we got through the hurdles. And they were challenging. I won't say otherwise. They were very challenging. And we've got our squad together now, and the pre-season has begun. So it's been a journey of over 12 months, to be perfectly honest. And were there times we thought we wouldn't make it? There probably were, being perfectly honest. And knowing the hill that was to be climbed, that got tougher before Christmas. But having said that, I have an extraordinarily determined bunch of people around me. And that's what got us to where we are today.
Now I put a little pause there because I made a mess of this. Would you believe? I have the lights here. I've got to put the bloody yolks. I was wondering I couldn't see myself, so I'll definitely cut that bit out. We had Tommy Barrett on with us on the League of Ireland podcast that we do, and because it was at a stage where he hadn't got a player, so he didn't even know what he had to work with. We did have a discussion about underage teams, so your 13s, 15s, 17s, and 19s, and then we did discuss. It went deeper than that, but we did discuss about how you would connect up with the local football team. So, what's the vision for around the area to link up with those clubs?
Well, what we've done, Roy, is we've written to all the leagues at this stage, announcing ourselves, I suppose, the best way once we had that, and looking for permission to approach the various clubs in order to discuss the opportunity for young players. And we've had a very good response to that. And as of last Friday, we formally got invited by the FAI to actually enter into the underage clubs. And so we sent out our expressions of interest over the weekend. Already there has been a reaction to that, which is great to see. And because it's a difficult time in terms of not being able to get young players out, can't get trials, we have to work very closely with the clubs in terms of getting from them a clear understanding who they think, their coaches think, are ready for that next step. Because we're very conscious here that we are complementary to the club system and the league system. We are not competitors here. And this is about giving those young people that opportunity to go to that next phase. And it can be devastating for a small club to lose two or three of its key players. And I know that having operated at a small level, when you see that happening, you have to regroup and get going. And what's very important as well is that those young people don't get lost in the system subsequently, that they can actually go back to that club if it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, it doesn't work out for everybody. So there has to be some process that enables us to keep that flow of young people coming back and forward, because it might not be ready this year, but in a year's time or 2 years' time, that person might be ready for the next level. So give them that shot and make sure they have a crack at it. And that's the philosophy that we're trying to bring to bear. So, and there's a close connection here between obviously the senior team and Jerry Moran on the academy. And then Dave Mahidi, whom you're probably familiar with, Dave, who has a long history of football and driving the UL sporting side, he's now effectively director of football. So it's his job to oversee this into the future, to make sure we have a consistency and approach, that our relationship with the leagues and the clubs is something that is going to work. Will there be difficult days ahead? I don't doubt that there will be the odd one. But having said that, we'll do everything that we can to make it work.
And we'll use, because again, I touched on it with Tommy, and it was new for him at that stage. Will you work with the clubs at the youngest of ages, as in your 7s, 8s, and 9? That's where they normally build up your technical ability and all. Will there be an inclusion of your coaches going in to help, or that opportunity for you to help those clubs with that sort of technical sort of process?
Yeah, and obviously we would love to do that, and it's going to take a little bit of time, right, to get ourselves structured to the point where we can do that. But you're absolutely right. At the youngest age possible, young people should get that opportunity to get access to the coaching. What's probably more important is that the coaches and the clubs are given an opportunity to experience the qualified coaches coming in. And I know that's something that I enjoyed when we were with our club, Sean Trad, where the lads came in from the RDOs and actually demonstrated to us as coaches what we should be doing to help these young kids. So if we got the coaching system working, and everybody's volunteers here, that's the reality of it. So it's not just the young people, it's also the coaches and the clubs. They need exposure, and that kind of relationship, I think, is very healthy, and it's one that hopefully we can work on and deliver on.
Yeah, Tommy is well known down around that area. Was he a shoe in, or did you have a couple of other names? You might have to be careful with this question.
Of course I do. Of course I thought Jurgen Klopp might be available at one stage there, but it looks like he's recovered a little bit. And no, we had a competition. We had a process. Is Tommy well known? Absolutely. And has he been faithful to Limerick and Midwest football, and has a proven track record? So to be perfectly honest, we were delighted that Tommy first of all declared an interest, came through the process, and is leading the troops now at under incredible pressure. In fairness, there's not too many managers get 4 days to put a team together, but he has done it and has put a very good squad together.
No, he has. In fairness to him, he had I suppose the last picking. So anything he does this year is going to be a good foundation. How does Treaty United make sure? We all know what happened with Limerick. How do they make sure that history doesn't repeat itself again?
Well, I think every League of Ireland club has struggled at some stage. I mean, having travelled around the country, I mean, I know the days when Dundalk were challenged, when Drogheda were challenged, Waterford, so as I said, I do recognise that this is an enormous undertaking. So how do we avoid it? What we attempted to do here, right, is create for the first time a not-for-profit approach, which is based on community support. And that was our reach out over this weekend to the fans and the supports to come on board. And that will enable us, providing we're careful. We're not doing anything overnight here. This is not by any stretch a sprint. It's a 5-year program. Tommy will have time to build his squad, build his team, and build the support. And that's what's critically important. Now, will we survive without that support? No, and no club does. So everybody has to try and get behind us corporately and community-wise and agency-wise. And this is good for the Midwest. It's good to have us up at this level, because I've always been a believer. I came from the public service, and spent my last 8 9 years in Limerick here. And what we wanted to do, as always, was get a different image of this part of the world out there. And we've done that in various different ways. And for me, when I see Limerick winning All Irelands, when I see Munster winning potentially Pro 14s or Heineken Cups, or soccer should be up there with that at this level, because it always was. And Limerick has an enormous tradition of this. So we're tapping into that culture, that heritage, and that's what I believe will bring us into the future, right? After that, as I say, we will take every step at a time.
Great. You have a membership scheme that you are calling out to locals. I suppose your locals are Kerry, Limerick, all surrounding areas. So I'll pop that up there, actually. Your membership deal you have there. Just tell us a little bit about it.
Well, I think first of all, I think when the FAI brought the free streaming on board, I think that was an enormous opportunity. And we had the choice of charging and so on, but we felt this could be part and parcel of the offering that we can put out there to people. So what we will be giving people is direct access to us. As it says, exclusive behind the scenes. You'll be able to have a go at me, have a go at Tommy and his backroom team, especially Tommy and his backroom team. Okay, so that's the message.
That might be very appealing.
You've got monthly newsletters. We have an introductory welcome pack which we're getting out there, and a commitment that everything we receive goes back into football development and into our club. And I think that's a very important message that we're trying to get out there to our young people and our senior lads, that look, we are about the football here. And that's why you won't be talking to me too often, you'll be talking to Tommy. It is about the football. But it's a great offer. It's a fabulous opportunity for families and individuals. We've already had contact, right, from the States, from the UK, from Europe, people actually longing to I suppose, to have that connection back home. The diaspora are reaching back home here. And with Paddy's Week coming, I hope they all start reaching back and buy the jerseys.
I hope so. And I think it should be the same all over the League of Ireland. It kind of leads into my next question. Do you feel that the League of Ireland clubs should be more united or should work better together to try and get the actual league brand's name out there, as in the marketing side of the league? It doesn't seem to be, I suppose, as strong as it could be. Is there talk behind the scenes of working together? Are you working together? What way is that work?
You're probably asking the one person who probably doesn't know, okay?
Right.
Because I'm very new on the scene here, and my concentration and the board's concentration has been getting us into the league. Now we have relations with other leagues. We've been in contact with them, and to be honest, they've been extraordinarily supportive. Like I found so far nothing but collegiality in that regard. Now, how that translates itself into a stronger brand product, that's something I couldn't answer at this stage. But I would agree with you that obviously it is important to continually to actually work together, to be cohesive, competitive on the pitch. But it is about getting the wider support for League of Ireland soccer, because it does need it. There's no doubt about that. And every sport has its troughs and its waves. And I think this one has an opportunity to drive much further at the moment. I've liked what the FA have done at national level. I can see what they're attempting to do. It's getting very well structured. So my relationship there has been quite strong. Obviously trying to get the licensing across the table. And I hope now, not just between the leagues and the clubs here, but also the opportunity to meet with counterparts across the country and understand what it is they have as problems, because I haven't seen them yet, right? And that's being honest. So I have to understand just what the real challenges are out there, other than just getting a team on the pitch.
Yeah, and I see it as well. Like, you look at Shamrock Rovers have a fantastic stadium up there. If they all the teams can work together to get the facilities up in all the grounds, say look at Finn Harps, for example, if they could get their stadium up and going, it's going to lead to a better brand for people to want to get out and look at these games a hell of a lot more.
I have to have a quality experience. And that's part and parcel at the day you went to the grounds. I think we've all gone across the water to watch matches at different times and had that opportunity. And the quality of what you walk into, you go to see it beforehand and so on. So again, from my previous life in the background, I've always believed that the local authority system can be a very strong player here in working with the development of infrastructure right across the board. I mean, internationally, municipal stadiums have worked. It is working to a point in Dublin, and I think that's something that needs to be looked at across the country so that we get a consistency of our approach, regardless of the challenges that individual clubs might make. So at least our standards in terms of infrastructure will always be constant. So I think there is something that should be considered, quite honestly, at national level, and that level of integration with local politics and local councils.
Yeah, I was again talking to Tommy. I said it's very hard to set goals for a year when you're just stepping into a league. What's success though for Treaty United at the end of this season? Not just on the pitch, but off it.
Well, success will be a year sustainably financially. That's
That's the big one.
Sitting around the table, making sure that everybody is paid and everything is taken care of, that our players get through a safe year, and quite honestly, that we build the loyalty that they want to come back to us next year, that we're a club that people will actually want to be at, so that when we start looking for players, that it won't be who is Treaty and say, well, I'd like to consider Treaty. Like that for me would be an enormous step forward. On the pitch, I expect our lads to be competitive. I really do. And I've already seen the flavour, and that's only after a couple of weeks of being together. These lads haven't had the chance to gel in any sense. And Tommy, it's going to take time to get what is going to be his best first 11 out there at any particular point in time. So if I set targets, it'll kill him altogether now. I just want us to be competitive. I want people to know that you come to the Markets Field, you are not going to have an easy game come hell or high water. And that's really what the message should be going out there. And I should say, right, the Markets Field and the LETP and Niall Callan, the chief executive there, have been hugely helpful to us in terms of getting us back to what I think is one of the best quality grounds in the country. And that's the infrastructure that I'd be looking at and say, where can we bring it to? Shouldn't it be the Mecca for this part of the country? And I believe it can be.
Yeah, something for the kids down there to focus on, look at, and that's their goal, to their first stepping stone, maybe. So,
Exactly.
Listen, Conn, it's been a pleasure talking to you. No doubt I'll talk to you throughout the year. All the best this year, and I'm delighted to see Treaty in the league.
Looking forward to it, and thanks a million for giving us the opportunity. We'll talk soon.